The cold winter swept across Hokkaido, Japan, and a powerful winter storm raged, bringing unprecedented disasters to this snowy country. On February 11th, Hokkaido's new Chitose Airport fell into chaos. Strong winds and snow caused visibility to be greatly reduced, and eventually 118 flights were forced to cancel. This became the worst flight disruption in the airport's history this winter. Hundreds of passengers were stranded at the airport and could not smoothly return on their scheduled flights. They lined up in long queues in front of the airline counters, anxiously seeking to change or reschedule their trips. A 30-year-old woman from Osaka said helplessly, "My family members have to go to work, and I really don't know what to do next." Another woman who went to Kansai Airport admitted that the surrounding hotels were full and the accommodation fee in Sapporo was too high, so she could only stay overnight at the airport. As the bad weather continued, New Chitose Airport had to open the terminal at 9 p.m. to provide temporary accommodation for passengers who had nowhere to go. Hundreds of passengers laid out blankets and mats and spent a long and cold night in this temporary hotel. An airline staff member said tiredly, "We have been trying our best to arrange it, but it is really overwhelmed, and many passengers are anxious to go crazy." This unprecedented storm not only disrupted the operation of New Chitose Airport, but also caused great trouble to the itineraries of thousands of passengers. Not only the airport was affected, but also 7 railway lines connecting Sapporo City were suspended, which caused serious obstacles to ground transportation. Hokkaido Airport Company staff said that starting from the afternoon of the 11th, strong winds and continuous heavy snow caused the airport visibility to drop sharply, which lasted for about 3 hours. This resulted in the cancellation of all 118 flights on important routes such as Tokyo Haneda Airport and Kansai Airport. "We have been paying close attention to weather changes, but the weather is so bad that it is beyond our ability to cope with it," he lamented. As the snowfall and temperature drop continued, the flight operations of New Chitose Airport were paralyzed for a time. Many passengers had no choice but to spend the night in the airport. According to statistics, in this serious flight disruption incident, a total of more than 1,650 passengers were forced to stay at the airport. This winter storm has undoubtedly dealt a heavy blow to Hokkaido's traffic order. As the main aviation hub of Hokkaido, the large-scale flight cancellations at New Chitose Airport have not only seriously affected passenger travel, but also dealt a heavy blow to local economic activities. What is more worrying is that the severe weather has also caused the railway line connecting the airport and downtown Sapporo to be interrupted, and the transportation of people and goods has been seriously hindered. Faced with the sudden snowstorm, New Chitose Airport and its affiliated airlines are undoubtedly in a crisis of response. With visibility plummeting and strong winds raging, they have no choice but to be forced to cancel a large number of flights to minimize the danger. But for the thousands of passengers stranded at the airport, this is undoubtedly a huge torture. Shivering in the cold wind, anxiously waiting for the flight change, all hope that this bad weather will end as soon as possible. But what is worrying is that the meteorological department predicts that Hokkaido will continue to experience continuous snowfall in the next few days, and the flight operations at New Chitose Airport may be difficult to return to normal. This sudden snowstorm has undoubtedly dealt a heavy blow to Hokkaido's transportation and tourism industries. Thousands of passengers had their flights canceled and were stranded at the airport to spend the cold night, which undoubtedly caused great trouble to their itineraries and life plans. At the same time, the interruption of the railway line connecting the airport and the city has also seriously affected the local logistics operations. The severe weather encountered in Hokkaido and Tohoku, Japan, not only brought serious impacts to the airport and transportation, but also a terrifying avalanche accident occurred in Fukushima Prefecture. In the early morning of February 10th, a large-scale avalanche suddenly occurred in a mountainous area in the Toyu Onsen area of Fukushima Prefecture. This huge snow wave rolled down the hillside and completely blocked the road to the 3 local hot spring hotels. In an instant, about 160 passengers and staff were isolated. This is really the biggest avalanche I have ever seen. The road is completely cut off, and we are completely at a loss, a hotel employee said worriedly. Although the power supply water supply and gas supply facilities inside the hotel are still functioning normally. It is obviously impossible to evacuate people as soon as possible because the road is blocked by a large amount of snow. The Fukushima Prefecture government immediately launched a rescue operation and dispatched a helicopter to the scene. After a difficult search and rescue, the authorities finally successfully transported 40 voluntary evacuees and employees down the mountain. The Fukushima Prefecture government said that although the trapped people are not in danger of life for the time being, they may still be trapped for a long time because it is difficult to clear the snow on the road in a short period of time. What is worrying is that the same road was hit by a large-scale avalanche again not long after. This time, there are still about 50 people stranded in the hot spring hotel in the mountains and have to continue waiting for rescue. The county government urgently dispatched a helicopter, hoping to pick up the remaining people as soon as the weather improves. This avalanche accident in the deep mountains and dense forests undoubtedly caused great panic among the trapped travelers and hotel employees. Although the basic living facilities inside the hotel are still in operation, they cannot be sure when they can be rescued, nor do they know whether they can survive safely in this isolated snowy area. We have been carefully observing the snow conditions around us, fearing that the next avalanche will happen at any time. It's really terrible, a trapped person said anxiously. In Fukushima Prefecture, which was swept by a blizzard, it was not only this hot spring hotel that suffered a snowstorm. In other areas, there were also a large number of casualties caused by snow accumulation. According to statistics, since February 4th, a total of 12 people have died and 158 people have been injured in the country due to heavy snow. The situation in the coastal areas of the Sea of Japan is the most serious. 3 people died in Niigata Prefecture, and 2 people died in Fukushima and Shirmane. In Nagano Prefecture, there was even a heartbreaking tragedy. A 96-year-old woman was crushed to death by snow in front of her house. In Toyama and other places, many people were accidentally injured during snow removal. This winter storm that swept across northern Japan caused great damage to local residents and facilities. The thickness of snow in Niigata, Yamagata, and other places has set a record high, and some areas have even reached more than 4 meters. Such a huge amount of snow has undoubtedly brought a heavy blow to many fields, such as local transportation and agriculture. The avalanche accident occurred in the hot spring area in the deep mountains and dense forests, which is undoubtedly a huge test for the trapped people. Although the authorities quickly mobilized helicopters for rescue, it is difficult to completely solve the problem in the short term because the roads were completely blocked. What is worrying is that as the temperature gradually rises, the secondary disasters brought by melting snow are also worth being vigilant. This sudden snowstorm not only threatened the lives of hot spring tourists in Fukushima Prefecture, but also caused many casualties. In Niigata, Yamagata, and other places, a large amount of property was destroyed. It can be said that this fierce winter storm has set off a real snow disaster in northern Japan. The strong winter storm suffered by Hokkaido and Tohoku in Japan is obviously just the beginning. According to the latest forecast of the Meteorological Department, in the next week, all parts of Japan will once again usher in a wave of more severe cold waves. This extreme weather event, described by experts as once in a decade, has undoubtedly brought new challenges to the disaster area. On February 10th, the Japan Meteorological Agency issued an early weather forecast, warning that in the next week, almost all of Japan, from Hokkaido to Okinawa, will experience large-scale cooling and heavy snow. Among them, the situation in the Hokuriku region and the Kanto region is particularly severe. Meteorological experts said that within 5 days from February 17th, the temperature in these areas will drop by 2.5 degrees Celsius to 2.6 degrees Celsius compared with the same period of previous years. At the same time, the snowfall will be 1.8 to 2.3 times the annual average. Experts describe this kind of extraordinary weather change as something that only occurs about once in 10 years. If this forecast comes true, it will undoubtedly bring a new round of snowstorms to the hard-hit disaster areas. Taking the Hokuriku region as an example, the Meteorological Department predicts that within 5 days from February 17th, the snowfall in the region will be more than 232% of the annual average. Gifu Prefecture, located in the mountainous area, may even experience large-scale snowfall on the 17th. In the Kanto region, the northern part of Nagano Prefecture and the northern part of Gunma Prefecture are also facing a severe situation where the snowfall in 5 days will reach 187% of the annual average. It is not difficult to imagine that if this forecast comes true, local transportation and life will undoubtedly be paralyzed again. In addition to Hokuriku and Kanto, the situation in other regions is not optimistic. The 5-day average temperature in Shigoku and Shikoku will drop by another 2.4 degrees Celsius compared with the same period of previous years. In Kyushu, the temperature will also be 2.5 degrees Celsius to 2.6 degrees Celsius colder than the same period of previous years. Even the Okinawa region, which has always been warm, will not be spared, and the temperature will drop by 2.5 degrees Celsius compared with the same period of previous years. It can be said that this upcoming once-in-a-decade cold wave will be a real snow disaster. Flight cancellations, traffic paralysis, and agricultural losses will undoubtedly become the severe tests that need to be faced next. Experts said with concern that the severe storm that surrounded northern Japan was just the beginning. Next, these areas will be hit by several waves of more severe cold waves, which will undoubtedly bring unprecedented challenges to local governments and residents. For the already severely hit disaster areas, this is tantamount to adding insult to injury. In last week's blizzard, 12 people died and 158 were injured in Niigata, Fukushima, and other places alone. In areas where the snow accumulation is more than 3 meters, agriculture and infrastructure have also suffered serious damage. If this forecast comes true, it will undoubtedly bring a heavier blow to the disaster area. The local airports, railways, roads, and almost all major transportation routes are likely to be paralyzed again. And for facilities such as hot spring hotels located in remote mountainous areas, they will also face a new round of survival tests. Overall, this winter storm that swept across northern Japan has already caused a devastating blow to the local area. When the disaster area has just begun to rebuild, a new round of cold waves has undoubtedly made people feel more desperate and helpless. The authorities called on the public to be vigilant and jointly respond to the challenges of extreme weather. But unfortunately, the Japanese government obviously still has many shortcomings in dealing with the disaster risks brought about by climate change. It is difficult to completely eliminate the hidden dangers of snowstorms in the short term. In the long run, it has become a top priority to formulate more complete disaster prevention measures. The secondary disasters caused by blizzard disasters are varied. First, large-scale snow accumulation may cause serious building collapse problems. According to data from the National Weather Service of the United States, the weight of each cubic foot of wet snow can reach 21 pounds, which puts great pressure on the structure of the building. For example, when the northeastern United States was hit by a blizzard in February 2011, more than 1,000 buildings collapsed in New Hampshire alone. Second, blizzards may cause power supply systems to collapse. The 2021 winter blizzard in Texas caused a large-scale power outage that lasted for several days, causing huge losses to local residents and businesses. According to data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the cost of power outages caused by severe weather is as high as billions of dollars each year. Power outages not only affect daily life, but may also endanger important infrastructure that requires electricity supply, such as hospitals, fire protection, and water supply. Thirdly, extreme snowfall may also cause serious road congestion problems. According to statistics from the U.S. Highway Administration, there are hundreds of thousands of road closures and blockages caused by blizzards every year, which has a huge impact on transportation. This not only hinders the passage of emergency rescue vehicles, but may also lead to serious consequences, such as stranded passengers and supply interruptions. At the same time, icy roads will greatly increase the risk of traffic accidents. In addition, blizzard disasters may also cause serious agricultural losses. According to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the blizzard in the East in March 2018 caused nearly $1 billion in crop losses, including vegetables, fruits, livestock, and poultry. Harsh climatic conditions will not only destroy existing crops, but may also damage agricultural facilities and infrastructure, affecting subsequent planting and breeding. It is worth mentioning that blizzards may also cause landslides and floods. After a large amount of snow melts, the surface water level rises, which is easy to cause landslides and floods, posing a serious threat to the safety of residents' lives and property. For example, after Maryland suffered a blizzard in February 2014, a serious landslide occurred, causing many casualties. It cannot be ignored that blizzard disasters may also paralyze the water supply system. In January 2022, after a blizzard hit Virginia, the United States, a large-scale pipeline was frozen and cracked, causing hundreds of thousands of residents to be without water for several days. Water supply interruptions not only affect daily life, but may also cause the spread of the epidemic, posing a huge hidden danger to people's health. It is particularly important that blizzards may also cause energy supply shortages. In February 2021, Texas suffered a rare cold wave, which caused natural gas pipelines to freeze, power plant power generation to drop sharply, and caused large-scale power outages. Energy shortages not only affect residents' heating, but may also cause factory shutdowns and economic activities to be hindered. More noteworthy is that blizzard disasters may also cause a high incidence of traffic accidents. According to data from the U.S. Highway Safety Administration, there are as many as 600,000 traffic accidents caused by severe weather each year, of which blizzard weather accounts for more than 30%. This not only causes personal injury to the participants, but may also cause cargo losses and transportation interruptions. It is worth noting that blizzards may also cause supply chain disruptions. In December 2022, the United States suffered the worst blizzard in history, causing large-scale paralysis of airports and highways, and the supply chain was severely impacted. This not only causes a shortage of consumer goods, but may also affect the supply of raw materials and parts for manufacturing, bringing a huge impact on economic development. It cannot be ignored that blizzards may also paralyze communication systems. According to data from the Federal Communications Commission of the United States, there are more than 1,000 communication interruptions caused by severe weather each year. Communication interruptions not only affect daily life, but may also cut off key channels for emergency response and disaster relief, bringing serious obstacles to post-disaster reconstruction. When a blizzard disaster comes, how to avoid risks and escape safely is crucial. First, according to data from the National Weather Service of the United States, there are hundreds of casualties caused by blizzards each year, most of which occur outdoors. Therefore, people should avoid outdoor activities in blizzard weather as much as possible. Secondly, if you have to go out, you must also be fully prepared. According to the advice of the Federal Emergency Management Agency of the United States, people should carry necessary emergency supplies, such as thick clothes, non-slip shoes, flashlights, and life-saving blankets. In addition, you should always pay attention to weather forecasts and make transportation plans in advance. At the same time, it is best to travel in groups to enhance safety. Thirdly, once a blizzard disaster comes, people should return to safe indoor places as soon as possible. Data from the National Safety Council of the United States shows that indoors is more conducive to sheltering and escaping than outdoors. People should choose buildings with solid structures and complete heating equipment, such as homes, office buildings, or schools. It is worth mentioning that if the home is not within a safe range, it is even more important to move to an emergency shelter in a timely manner. In addition, people need to take some protective measures when taking shelter indoors. According to the American Red Cross, all windows and doors should be closed to minimize heat loss. At the same time, the indoor temperature should be kept moderate to avoid health problems caused by the cold. In addition, keep communications open and pay attention to weather forecasts and emergency information at any time. It cannot be ignored that during blizzards, people should also pay attention to food and water safety. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, according to the data from the center, due to the lack of water and power, food hygiene and drinking water pollution problems are prone to occur after the blizzard. Therefore, people should prepare enough drinking water and preservative food to ensure basic living needs. It is particularly important that people learn to save themselves and each other during the blizzard. A survey by the National Emergency Response Center of the United States shows that more than 60% of blizzard casualties occurred indoors, mainly because people lack self-rescue awareness and skills. Therefore, people should master common self-rescue methods, such as the correct use of heating equipment and identification of frostbite symptoms. In addition, they should take the initiative to help people in need around them, such as children and the elderly.